Yo, yo, good day. It is Critical Mess. It is episode 21. That means we can drink. Luckily, we've been doing a lot of that already. This is the podcast where some friends in the ad business rap about movies that critics and audiences don't agree on. I am Nick Honeywell. I'm here with Grizz Griswold and Brian McCullough. Producer Ben is here. Say what's up, dudes.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, this is Brian McCullough, notable pinball machine lover and cherisher and enthusiast. And I'm pretty upset right now.
Spoiler warning.
I'm uncomfortable how you said lover.
Well, you know.
He had a little glimmer in his eyes.
Sometimes when it's just you and a pinball machine in a dark room.
What's the bump called?
Nudge.
That's a nudge.
The love tap.
Don't make me death save something.
All right. Quite the intro. So, all right. Usually what we do here is an icebreaker. We've got an icebreaker tonight. It's a simple one. And here it comes. What's a great movie title? We've talked about this a couple times. Before you guys give your answers, I want to give two examples that of great movie titles of movies we just talked about. Final Destination. I think we all
kind of
agree.
came to mind first for me almost.
Yeah, that's a good title. That's a smart title in a lot of ways. And also, obviously, Snakes on a Plane. Great title. But aside from those two, what is a great movie title?
The Matrix.
I almost said you can't say The Matrix or Interstellar. I almost said
Dang it. I was going to say it.
He's calling us out.
But
gotta think of
I
another one
didn't.
now.
I thought I didn't have to, but here we are.
Okay, let me just say I have always loved the name of that movie because nobody knew what the hell that movie was going to be when it came out, and the title gave nothing away about it, and yet it was a very fitting title. But that's not my official answer. I really love the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. Wait, Jesse Jackson?
We're nailing it.
Wait. Who was assassinated by the coward Robert Ford? Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know if I love or hate that movie title, but I respect how long it is and weird it is.
Yeah, I think that's a very interesting answer.
Thank you.
Oh, I got to go with a nice little classic for us, I guess, Back to the Future, because it had some other titles beforehand that were kind of goofball and weird, and I can't remember what the names were all off the top of my head, but Back to the Future just seems so...
What a great pun of a title.
it's
so
so
clever.
good. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Great answer.
Yeah.
But then when it goes to Back to the Future 2 and 3, not as good.
Oh, hey, that's an example of a movie where they say the title at a very pivotal moment. Remember when Doc goes, "We've got to go back to the future."
Yes.
Remember?
Yeah.
Yes.
That would have been
One
a
of the
great
best, yeah.
answer to that question whenever you asked that. So, Nick, what's your answer?
Yeah, well, I've obviously had a little time to think about it, so I'm going to give a few quick ones. So the first one that came to my mind when I thought of this question is kind of a weird one, but The Talented Mr. Ripley, I think is a great title for a lot of reasons. But one little reason is because when you think of being talented, that's usually a good thing, a positive thing. It's not something you don't usually associate talent with, like this incredibly devious narcissist maniac. But he is very talented. He's a talented lunatic. So I also love that movie. So I think that's a great title. I think Spielberg had some great titles. Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That's so good.
Yeah, that's just butter. That's a great title. And then I'm going to give one more. I have to give a shout out. I'd be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to my favorite movie of all time, Die Hard. Great title. I mean, simple, to the point, kind of an unusual phrasing that just
because it's already a phrase, like you're a diehard this or a diehard that, and it's sort of taking that phrase and turning it more literal.
Right. Yeah, I guess I shouldn't say that. It's not unusual phrasing, actually, but the way they've kind of taken it out of context.
Yeah, they cleverly
is
did that, and they
unusual.
succeeded.
Yeah, right.
By the way, just for the record, it's the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. Just, I should at least get the name of my answer correct. Good
Nice
question,
work.
man. Good question.
job. Great question.
Yeah, good. Glad you guys liked it. Okay.
By the way, we have a mutant bunny on the loose in the studio
I know.
today.
If we got anything weird vibe going on, it's because there's a bunny attacking us.
If we all sound distracted, it's because we're girding our loins for this
just
Monty
launching
Python
carrots in the
creature.
opposite direction, just trying to distract this beast. So, anyways, we're talking about a movie tonight that we are gonna spoil if you haven't seen it. So, just a heads up there. The movie we're talking about tonight is a movie from this year, from the year of our Lord.
What? We're doing a current movie?
2023.
What? How many of those have we done?
One.
Yes, this will be 2. Guys, it's a horror movie.
Ooh,
So-
Shocker.
horror. Are we? Is this still?
We just can't
October?
get off these horror movies. We are not doing another horror movie for a while, but there's a little differentiator. This is teen horror, I guess, so that's a little different. Yes, the movie tonight that we're talking about, Freddy Got Fingered. Are you guys ready?
Oh,
to
Tom
chat.
Green. I love it.
Yes.
Tom
Yes.
Green. Yeah, I'm ready, dude.
Freddy
All
Got
right.
Fingered. Sweet.
Yeah, hell yeah. Okay, no, we're talking about Five Nights at Freddy's, unfortunately. I'd much rather be talking about Freddy Got Fingered, but we're going to talk about Five Nights at Freddy's,
Or if you're cool, FNAF.
or FNAF, if you're one of the kids, which we are most decidedly not.
So hip and so cool.
Hey, if you're a kid and you're listening to this, first of all, shame on you. Go get permission. But second of all, we took it serious. I took it serious, and I'm gonna seriously critique it. Okay, we're not. This ain't no joke. This isn't a joke. Okay, so just don't click out of the podcast yet.
Say no joke, son. We took it real serious. Okay. This movie, directed by Emma Tammy, the double first name, you gotta love that. Starring Josh Hutcherson, Elizabeth Lale, Piper Rubio, Mary Stuart Masterson, and Matthew Lillard. Let's go. Big Matthew Lillard fan. Ironic Matthew Lillard fan.
I think you cut me too deep, man.
He's the best. He's the best. This one cost like about $20 million to make, and it's going to make us all a little bit sick when we hear what it's pulled in so far. Anyone see the number?
I have not, but I just know that that's the big title for the big marketing behind this. Is it just it made boatloads of money.
I'll say what I know is opening weekend, it made quadruple its budget just in theaters, not counting day and date release numbers on Peacock.
Wow.
80-ish million.
Jeez.
That's great marketing. We make lots of money. Who doesn't
Yeah.
want to be associated with that? Anyway, we're at about $300 million right now
Wow.
for this bad boy at a $20 million budget. So good.
Oh, there's
Gravy.
going to be so many sequels.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
All right. Quick
The
refresher.
next coming of Saw.
Quick refresher about the criteria for our movies here. So, got to be fresh with audiences and rotten with critics, or vice versa. And the disparity needs to be at least 20% or so. This movie happens to get a pretty tepid 30% with critics and an absolutely ridiculous 87% with audiences. So we've got about 60% disparity here. So, whoa.
And just to cover the out of 10, critics 4.6 and audience 8.6.
Wow.
8.6. That's like the fucking Godfather.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, things don't get 8.6.
Well,
I'm looking at you like Grizz angrily, like I'm taking my anger out on you just because you're across the room from me
Yeah.
right now. I'm sorry.
I see it. I feel it.
well, let's get into it, guys. First time we've seen this film. How many times have we seen it over the years? If anyone says more than 2, then I'm going to be
No.
deeply disappointed.
I came in just under the threshold. I've seen it twice. I watched it with my son the day it came out for free on Peacock, and it cost me a lot. And then I saw it again yesterday and half today.
When you say it costs you a lot, you mean it costs you a lot of like your soul?
Well, I was trying
or
to
you
say
mean,
like I watched it
your
for free, but
wallet?
but it was like a terrible pun on like it still wasn't free, even though it was free. But I had no joke to follow that
Yeah,
up.
it cost
with,
you some of your soul.
It cost my soul. Is what I should have said.
Yeah, for sure. Today, I watched it today, this afternoon. So once.
Damn,
free
you were the
on
kind of
Peacock.
kid that just did your homework like 2 minutes before the bell rang.
This is
right?
the first time I've watched it same day. This is the first time I've ever done that.
Wait. And you went and saw Napoleon today, so you didn't even have time to do any reflection on it. You just immediately went and watched a Ridley Scott movie, and now here we are.
I did. I built a sofa table, painted it, and then went straight to the movie theater to watch Napoleon, and then came straight here and then I watched that movie, and then I went to Napoleon, and then I came straight here.
That's like
So-
watching like Sesame Street and then watching The Wire.
I wouldn't say that. I don't want to give spoilers out from Napoleon, but it was beautiful to look at. I'll say that. Sorry if anybody was looking forward to the film.
I'm going tomorrow, so
Good luck.
thanks. It's 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Nick, did you already say yours?
Yeah, last night. Last
Oh,
night.
last night,
Yeah,
okay.
last night is when I saw it.
All right, angsty teen not doing his homework till the last minute.
Well, at least I didn't wait till day of. Goodness gracious! I did it the night before. Got a good night's sleep in. All right. This is Critical Mess. We've got some sponsors tonight. We are sponsored by Johnny D. Johnny D. something. Johnny D. We've talked. I think it's what is it? Is it Johnny Drummer Boy?
Johnny D. Rum,
Right.
but it's whiskey.
Yes.
Anyway, they need to work on that font.
Yeah, that font and the legibility. Johnny Drum, holler at us because we love your product. It is a top tier A triple plus product, bourbon straight,
Private stock.
private stock, Kentucky whiskey. 101 proof, bitch. So yeah,
Just stick that bitch in there real quick.
yeah, that'll get you where you want to go. So Johnny D, thank you. We've also got a bottle of Michter's. I used to think Michter's was like $10,000 a bottle. So apparently they've got cheaper stuff, or else we're drinking the good stuff.
This is the
Chris?
small batch, so it is not.
It's still like
It's
50,
affordable.
It's like
Yeah.
$50.
Yeah.
It's not
Okay.
that
I
expensive.
guess my point of reference is Billions. I watched Billions, right? And they only drank like Michter's, but they got like whatever like the most top
the rarest
tier
of rarest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Michter's was. It was literally like, like $3-4 grand a bottle or something silly. So
I remember seeing Spider-Man, old boys drinking Maker's Mark. And I always thought Maker's Mark was this like super high-end top shelf whiskey because James Franco, this rich guy, was drinking it. So I had the same kind of like wrong. I mean, Maker's Mark's great, but
and then you found out what is it though?
well, I mean, I'm trying to get a sponsor here.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Maker's
stick
Mark's
with,
great.
Yeah, it's hot trash.
Well, okay. Well, we don't need them. We got Johnny D.
Yeah.
Yeah, Johnny D is way better than Maker's Mark. And Michter's. Thank you to our sponsors.
And other sponsors that we have. that
We'll
are
take
better.
anyone. Literally anyone.
Or we could neg them and be like, Makers, absolute shit
Yeah.
until they sponsor
Now
us.
we're going to get Makers because they're going to be like,
Yeah.
actually,
Yeah.
There you go.
taste this.
Yeah, let's use that reverse psychology.
Yeah.
I think that's going to work.
Is it just me or are we stalling on.
Yeah, we're
No, let's rate this film.
Because
Let's
I
rate
actually
this
am
film.
stalling.
Let's rate this film. Guys, I gave it a 32. I thought it sucked. I thought there was a couple things that I liked, but I just thought it was kind of just not a good movie, and I didn't like it much. I might even have liked it slightly more than I thought I was going to at a 32. But yeah, not a good movie.
I gave it a 38. It didn't make me angry. It just didn't make me feel anything. And I think if it had made me angry, if it had been trying to be preachy or done something that like was I always say that, Cinema Sins, like that YouTube channel, if it just was full of that would have lowered my score. But it didn't. It didn't make me angry.
No, I guess. Well, yeah. For as much plot and story they put behind the main character, I'm shocked that you didn't feel anything. But I get it. I get why now.
Well, he was the most cardboard cutout actor I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's pretty rough.
Good night.
I weirdly gave it a higher score than you guys, but not by much. So I'm right at a 45, and that gives it a lot of credit, I think, still. But
Let me just say this. I think it's way easier to give a super high or a super low rating. I have a lot of respect for a 45, for 38, 34. I think that,
it's tough to fall in that range.
yeah, it's like because you want to come out on one side or the other. It's hard to be like, well, I'm kind of in the middle, so I respect that.
Eat shit, Brian.
Yes, sir.
All right. You're listening to Critical Mass. I'm here with Brian, Grizz, and Ben. And I think now we need to, obviously, the disparity here is ridiculous. It's one of our highest disparities at that's around 60%. So huge gap here between critics and audiences and not agreeing on this film. So let's get into that a little bit. I want to know, and I think some of it is, let's get kind of one of the obvious things out of the way here. This is a movie based on a very, very popular game. It's a game that weirdly I didn't really know anything about until we started talking about this movie, which seems very weird because I am very into gaming. I'm just not into PC gaming. This game's never been on PC, even though it's been out for about 10 years.
It's only been on PC.
It's only been on PC, yeah. So it's also a point-and-click game, which is not really my thing. But regardless, this game is a huge fucking deal, and I did not know that, which it's because I'm old. I get it. But for those of us with children who are also old, you guys know about this for for that reason. So, anyways, I think this is all this to say that there's a built-in audience here that is going to just by default love the movie because they love the game. And it's also skewing very young. This audience is clearly kind of a teen audience, and that's a rabid fan base. They get passionate about the stuff they like. So, anyways, I think that's kind of the table stakes answer to why maybe there's such a disparity here. So, anyways, I'd love to hear more about that, though.
Yeah, I think you hit it. I mean, I'm not going to read very many audience reviews this time because they were all that. They were all greatest movie ever, greatest game ever. It did exactly what I wanted it to do. I can't wait for the sequels. There's just tons of that.
And can I say real quick, I read there apparently was a lot of fan service in this.
I think
to the games.
Yeah, there was a lot of mentions here of Easter eggs.
Right.
Kept talking about Easter eggs, which would be the fan service.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get. I'm gonna get 0% of that. So
Same. Yep.
Yeah, funny. I did not watch any reviews or breakdowns of this movie at all, just to see what the Easter egg. I love New Rockstars, a YouTube channel, and they just break down movies and shows and all kinds of stuff. But I saw that they had like a 35-minute breakdown of this movie and all the Easter eggs and all the things and references. And I held back from watching that just because I wanted to review the movie. I think that's one of the biggest things for us. It's just simply review it as a film and what we liked about it and what we think the reason is that audiences loved it and critics, hated it, and vice versa.
And recognizing that there definitely is valid enjoyment, high rating factor. And I think, I'm not looking at this going, oh, all these 13-year-olds who wrote a review on Rotten Tomatoes are dumb because they just liked it because they're fans and because they enjoyed it. Like, I think that's valid. I think we've hit on that a lot.
Yeah, we have the same reaction to the movies that we loved when we were kids.
Yeah.
And like the rehash of movies later, or the same film later or whatever, we'll still have nostalgia for it.
Yeah. We like to try to be objective, but I do recognize that a large swath of the population just is not objective when it comes to movie ratings. And that's why they're not critics. So... But just to read a couple here, audience reviews, Angela V. The movie might have strayed away from the original storyline, but the story the movie followed is exceptionally good and also left an impact of emptiness on me once it ended. In conclusion, this movie is a must-watch since I rarely feel a sense of emptiness about movies.
Boy,
10 out of 10.
I also felt that emptiness.
Thoughts on desiring the feeling of emptiness?
Oh. I don't know, guys.
Isn't that what we are all striving to not feel? Angela V,
and rated it what?
You're a baller. 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Ma T. It was awesome to see it as a Five Nights at Freddy's fan, and it is perfect, but it could have been much better. 10 out of 10.
Oh, Ma T.
Could have been much better. 10 out of 10.
Ma T coming with
Thoughts
the
on
review.
giving a movie a perfect rating and then saying it could have been much better?
And how can they rate it again? Can they do 9.1, 9.5?
So I'm standardizing this all to a scale of 10. This person really gave it a five stars on Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay,
But
all right.
because you can do halves,
Yeah.
I just standardize
cool.
it to a 10.
Just wondering. Okay.
So they gave it a 5 out of 5.
Okay. Gosh, that's funny.
62K. The animatronics in the Five Nights at Freddy's movie were so cute. 9 out of 10. Cute?
Cute. They felt clunky, like worse than RoboCop.
They felt fucking horrifying. On purpose.
Yeah.
Cute?
No, that person's being facetious.
62K, you're a mad lad. Gabriella G. Josh Hutcherson. Goo Goo Gaga. Very scary. Foxy Scatted. 10 out of 10.
What were those last two words?
Yeah, can you spell those for
Josh
us?
Hutcherson. Goo Goo Gaga. Very scary. Foxy Scatted.
Foxy Scatted?
Scatted.
Can you please use that in
I
a
thought maybe
sentence?
you were going to be like, that's a nice little rap line. That's the only reason I read it. Yeah, I mean, it kind of rolls off the tongue. Gabriella G.
Really know
You're
where
one
to
of a
begin with
kind.
that one.
You're one of a kind.
This is what we're dealing with here, folks. This is why this got an 86%.
Now, yeah,
How
do
many
we-
people do you think rated it 5 out of 5 just because it's Five Nights at Freddy's?
Every review that I'm not reading.
Well,
reads-
I mean,
is
just
that.
because 5 is in the title.
Oh. Ooh. That's too meta for...
Right. The people are like,
that's too
These
much.
people are
well,
not-
you got to give
So,
five
not
for
smart.
Are
five.
these people
Not
going
smart
on
enough
and
for that.
rating One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest a 1 out of 5?
I mean, I would.
Or it takes 2 to tango a 2 out of 5? Last one, guys. Sonia A. Love this movie. Took you back to the 80s when people left the house and there were places to go. 10 out of 10. Does today's youth not leave the house?
You know what? I just had a long conversation with someone about this the other day. And
This
they
is a serious
don't.
question.
They don't. You know, remember when? Sorry, this is old man rant here.
No,
but
please. This is exactly what I was hoping for
Yeah.
when I read this, because I thought maybe there's something to this.
When we were kids,
We drank out of hoses and we played in the yard.
no, there used to just be like roving bands of kids, what 8-year-olds, 12-year-olds that just running through backyards in packs, playing basketball, shooting each other with super soakers.
Sorry, we're on the porch, right?
Yes. So
you're not the only one that remembers your childhood that way.
no,
'Cause that's
yeah.
exactly how I
No,
remember
as long
my
as you were
childhood.
within like a mile square radius of your house, that was kind of what like mom and dad expected. These days, it's like little Timmy is just on the couch, just gets on FaceTime and is like, hey, what's up, buddy? He doesn't have to even leave the couch to hang out with his friends. They're playing Call of Duty, they're FaceTiming. They're chilling. They don't
They're
need
watching
to,
their TikToks.
right. They're watching TikTok. They don't need to go
TikToks.
outside. They don't need to do anything. They're not, So I think that everyone now's got a big privacy fence. If there's a roving band of like 12-year-olds, like 15, 12-year-olds running through your backyard these days, that's when people start shooting now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's not how it was when
You
we were
also
kids.
can't go. You also can't knock on people's door anymore. Do you realize
Oh
this?
yeah, same thing.
Absolutely
yeah.
not. Yeah, it's a big no-no.
Remember, like,
especially after 6 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah, like selling candy bars, like like door to door for Little League. That's not a thing anymore because the kids are in grave danger doing that type of behavior now. So it's just Anyways, okay, there's my rant. I'm done.
All right. Thanks for tuning in. Next week we're doing.
Next
Oh,
week
well,
on
we're still
Old
gonna
Man
talk
Nick.
about this movie.
no.
Damn it.
Oh shit, forgot. Yeah.
No, I agree, Nick, and I was a little bit afraid when I read that. I laughed and I was like, wait a minute, that's probably hitting close to the mark. Eeh. All right, guys. So audience reviews. I read some funny ones. Like I said, every one that I didn't read, it's people saying this is the greatest movie ever because I love the game. Which again, I am not shitting on that. That's fair enough. Okay, fair enough. I'm actually not gonna read any critic reviews this time because I might reference one or two. But first of all, there weren't any that blew me away, and second of all, I think we can all guess. I mean, I don't want to assume because obviously we want to talk about the critical disparity, but just take my word for it. Critics just did not think the movie was good. They either thought it should have gone hard into the R and actually done something, interesting, or that it was just fan service and that it was poorly written. The characters were flat. I mean, just all the stuff that's so obvious when you watch this movie. I hope it's obvious. Maybe it's not.
Well, who was your favorite character in this movie? Who was your favorite, and then who do you think had like the most depth?
Well, definitely my favorite was Matthew Lillard.
All right, thank
Easily.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Well,
All right,
he
I'm
was
glad
the-
we can all agree on
But
that.
he was also the only actor in this movie.
I don't know. Hutcherson's been around for a number
been a
of
bit.
years, decade plus. Yeah.
He's not. Have you seen him in another movie?
Yeah, it's pretty bad, but
Bridge to Terabithia, Hunger Games.
Yeah.
He was that little bitch PETA.
yeah, from Hunger
Yeah.
Games. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Put Liam Hemsworth in this.
He
Now
was
you got
also
somebody.
in what was that space movie with Dax Shepard? He was also in that, right? That might have been his best performance.
Remember Dax Shepard?
Dad, that sounds like a nightmare fuel. Him and Dax Shepard
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
a movie together. Oh my god.
Ooh. Like this lawyer we're looking at was terrible. This Jane was horrendous. She was like
She
a
was
just a
really
TV
bad.
actress.
Yeah.
Everyone like Max, this girl.
Oh, that's a great
babysitter.
that's a great description for this movie. A
What?
TV acting,
Oh, totally.
just like Hallmark film.
It felt very
like-
Hallmarky.
oh, it's so rough all over. But Lillard,
The way I
Hell
viewed
yeah,
this
dude.
movie, the way I viewed this movie is more like an intro to a scary movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you're just like wanting to get into scary movies, but you don't want it too scary of a movie.
That's
would be
actually what a
this.
lot of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
audience said. They also said this is a great gateway horror movie for teens. Which,
Yes.
again,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah, and I know your love for PG-13 horror
Oh
is
God.
penultimate. So
There's only there's only 6 good movies that are PG-13. Mission Impossible's 1 through 6.
my
Wait, 2 sucks. Mission Impossible's 1 through
scary
6 minus
movies?
2.
Scary movies.
No, just
Okay.
good.
So I did list out horror movies that were PG-13, and I tried to like list the ones that I remember being good or enjoyable, or had decent ratings. So I think that's one of the things that I'll get into later. But this was just not it. I think
Yeah.
it really could have benefited from being like a hard R and just going for it.
Well, I'll tell you what they should have done in Brian's corner. We'll get there. We'll extrapolate on that. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think, Nick? Have we hit the critics? We feel good about that?
Yeah, like you said, I don't think there's a whole lot to dissect here. It's just not a very good movie. It's hard to give this critical acclaim, and in fact, honestly, I'm just talking about it. Like, I think our scores are too high. My score feels too high.
Well,
It'll be fun.
Let's get into that.
you can change it, as I've shown.
Oh, yes,
I
you
might
have.
do that.
Yeah.
You're allowed to change it. And again, really, between the three of us, we've had a total of about 6 hours to digest it. So maybe we haven't. Well, actually, I've seen it twice, so I'm pretty confident with my score. And I will talk about what I liked when we flipped the script. I don't think it was trash, but
I had a hard time with my score. I mean, it's really difficult to score it in that mid-range, and I was going to sit right there in the middle of it. But I think the first half of the first act and the last half of the last act was just, it was good. I thought it was a great horror film. I think you could have ripped this entirely down, got rid of the entire subplot of his, backstory and the sister-in-law.
Hang on now. We're jumping the segment.
Yeah.
We're
But
almost in our
I
next
know,
segment.
but still, I think it's just one of those things where you can rip a lot of this movie down into a very simple 20, 30-minute internet movie.
I respect the fact that you rated this 3 times higher than Snakes on a Plane. And I think I approve of that.
Yeah. I had a strong disagreement.
Well, Grizz, I want to get kind of back into. I think we can transition to this segment. Before we do, though, I just want to remind everyone this is Critical Mess. I'm here with Brian. I'm here with Grizz. I'm here with Ben, and we're sponsored tonight by Johnny D, because that's all we can read.
Matter of fact, can you pass me the Johnny D?
Sure. Well, hang on.
Oh, do you need to read?
I
Get it
do.
close. It's hard to read. It's not very legible now.
No.
Distilled, aged, and bottled by Willett Distillery in Bardstown, Kentucky.
Mm.
Good old Bardstown.
Bars.
I spent a lot of time in Bardstown, and let me tell you, that's a good town.
You go to the Bourbon Trail? Is that
No.
not where the Bourbon Trail is?
It probably is. I was.
What
joking.
else
I've
is
never
in
really
Bardstown?
even been to Kentucky, really. Like,
Wait.
I've been there maybe like,
You said you spent a lot of time in Bardstown.
yeah, I was.
Am I gullible again this week?
Yeah.
I think
Shit.
so.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think
Okay.
you got it.
I got to come with thicker skin up in this biatch.
Anyways, it's handmade in the heart of the bluegrass state. So, Johnny Drum.
To my credit, I think a lot of listeners actually have spent a lot of time in Bardstown going on the Bourbon Trail. Thank you, producer Ben, for having. You
Raising
didn't have
his
my
hand
back 5
quietly.
seconds ago.
Yeah, no, he's not going to say anything. Quiet, you.
Ben only speaks when absolutely necessary.
You guys just gave me a mic. I'm not letting you take it away.
Yeah, that's true. As our house graphic designer, we've made this joke a few times with the Johnny D bottle design and how hard it is to read their logo. I think it's just a bright red logo handwritten in a script font
Well, there's one
with
thing.
a drop shadow
There
of
you go.
another color that's very similar to the red in a goldish color.
And can
So
we
it's-
agree that that's
It
the
is
ins-
what's
that's
making the red
worst
vibrate
part?
off of a yellow off-white background.
Johnny D rum, just drop the drop shadow and you're good to go.
You know something else we can also agree on? It's a fan-fucking-tastic product.
Absolutely.
Might not be the
Perfectly
best
smooth.
label, but it is the best product. So, anyway. Except for Michter's, which is equal. Because
And
that's our
Maker's
other
Mark
sponsor.
sucks.
Maker's Mark
Until
does
they
suck.
sponsor
Maker's
us, then
Mark
they're good.
has the burden of proof at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, Maker's Mark, go to hell.
Continue.
Go ahead.
This is Critical Mess. And what we're going to do now is flip the script. And Grizz, you kind of got a head start on flipping the script. So I'd like
That's
you to continue on that.
Let me try to get back into this mindset. So I think this movie was, an hour and a half, hour and 40 minutes, something like that.
It was a little longer than that.
It was probably
Let me
longer
tell
than
you,
that?
It felt like about 6.5 hours.
It was long.
But I think it clocked in at about an hour 50, I believe.
Oh my God. And so as a movie called Five Nights at Freddy's, it took a lot of time during the day to talk about Josh Hutcherson's character's backstory and his dream sequence 9, 10 times. I don't know how many times. And so they tried to build this backstory, and I think it was just completely wasted time that they could have just used in a fun, more interesting way in Freddy's. And they could have just done a little bit more horror, and they could have just done a little bit more with that. I don't know.
Wait, are we flipping the script?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
flipping the script.
Yeah.
But you didn't like it.
Yes, I did not like it. I think
I
literally
think you were saying there was something you liked.
We're talking about what you did like about it at this point.
what I did like about it
Dude,
was
have
the
you never
first
known
That's
what
the flip the script
15 minutes.
segment.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. Well, all right. So I'm trying to get
Wait,
trying to
21
prep this.
episodes
Rapid
in.
So
fire
in the
is in
15
slow burner
in the
opposites on purpose. Flip the script is not an opposite.
In the-
it's a literal.
in the opening 15 minutes and the closing 15 minutes, I think were the best parts of this movie. I think it got my attention. I was intrigued by the first 15. And I think that's what like got me into the movie, and that's what held me through the movie was that first 15, 20 minutes. And Hutcherson was, calm and, he was brooding and weird. He had the dream sequence, all these things. And you had like the opening scene of like the guy, spoiler alert, the security guard that was of previous time getting his face ripped to shreds on a, makeshift costume.
Yeah,
Chuck E. Cheese
whatever that thing
costume or
was.
Showbiz
The face
pizza
shredder.
costume.
It was like some half-assed like Saw knockoff.
It was very Saw-ish.
thing.
Yeah.
But you're right. They had the classic horror movie cold open, and
Yeah.
it set up perfectly. There's even a little callback to the little bolts he unscrews on the little. He starts getting that loose for later in the movie. So there's some setups and payoffs. There's some vibe establishments. There's some backstory and lore. So I think you're right. I did like the first little bit of this movie. What else? Are you still flipping?
No, I just really think it could have been distilled down to a 30-minute fan film with an even greater, payoff and efficiency and all those things.
Would you have watched it as an episode of Black Mirror?
Absolutely.
Yep. Same.
Absolutely. That's a great comparison.
Yep.
Black Mirror, yeah, it could have been an incredible Black Mirror episode. Yeah.
I will flip a little bit here. I love the "that's two jobs" joke that they came back to twice in the movie. I don't know why. I just kind of, maybe it was because it was like kind of the only levity in the entire movie. But I don't know if you guys remember, but Matthew Lillard, who plays, he's got two names. He's Steve Ragdon and also William Abercrombie, Abernathy,
That sounds like a horror film.
Jabberwocky. William Jabberwocky. William Afton. Anyway, played by Matthew Lillard. Earlier, he tells Josh, and then later tells Vanessa, "You had one job. You've got one job, whatever." And he says two things,
Yeah.
and they both go, "That's two jobs." So I don't know. I was like, okay, good job. And then,
Way to call it out in a very extreme moment
yeah,
as your father is holding you by the neck and with a knife at your...
yeah, it was a little out of place when she said it towards the end. I think it felt better when Josh said it. It was a cool aesthetic. I'm looking at the movie now. We've got it playing in the background as we normally do. I seem to remember Showbiz pizzas looking like this Freddy Fazbear's when I was a kid. They had the red velvet curtain. I think just sort of the I don't know, the wide shots, the blocking, some of the camera work, the dark. It's always dark, and there's tinkering, sort of incandescent lights here and there. Everything's dusty. I don't know, good vibe, good opening, 8-bit sort of opening credits. Almost felt like the opening of like a TV show or something when it's showing all the animals and everything. So they did pretty good on the aesthetic.
Can we take a quick pause? I've got something I think we have to address immediately. I need to hear all of your experiences with Showbiz Pizza and what it meant to you as a child, how often you went, what you thought of it, and what kind of place it was to you in your formative years.
I can't believe we didn't ask that first. And
I know.
I feel like an idiot.
I know. I'm so glad.
I'm
that
so sorry,
we
listeners.
got to this, but we did. We got there.
Showbiz Pizza was my Disney World. My parents, we did not have money, and we went down to the Greenwood Park Mall to shop every so often.
Sure.
And we were driving down 31, and we were supposed to be going to Target or something as a family. And my parents pulled into the place that we had passed 100 times and never gone in. They surprised us, took us into Showbiz Pizza, and it was I think I just blacked out. It was like the greatest night of my life. They had the ball pits. They had the scary-ass animatronics, which haunted my dreams. The big gorilla, I loved everything about it. And after that time, I think we started going more often. Maybe just because we got older.
Yeah,
So-
kids' birthday parties probably.
Yeah, kids' birthday parties went with. It was just one of my greatest memories as a kid was Showbiz Pizza. Which, if anybody doesn't know, Showbiz Pizza I think was acquired by Chuck E. Cheese's. Kind of changed and morphed into kind of what it is. But if you can picture, like if Chuck E. Cheese was way more like almost like a Flix Brew. What are those like Hollywood Bar and Filmworks? Almost it was much more geared towards the theater experience.
Yeah, Dave and Buster's kind of.
Yeah, and it was like kind of more grandiose and a little less sterile. So I'm sorry. I'm glad I got a chance to gush over that because super great memories as a kid.
Incredible. I think I might have been too young for Showbiz. I think I only went once, maybe twice, and then it was straight into Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, it changed when I was pretty young.
Yeah,
so.
we were pretty. Yeah,
But yeah, as like we didn't have money growing up. So going to these places, it was always a friend's birthday party, and they always had a set of tokens to go with. I never had extra money to go play these games
tokens.
or whatever. So it was always a blast to see those animatronics of the mouse at Chuck E. Cheese and all those things. That terrible pizza. And
Well, I was filthy fucking rich growing up, so we didn't go to that scummy establishment. Anyways, no, I was not rich growing up, and same story, guys. I mean, Showbiz Pizza was literally for a multi-year period of my life, the best, coolest place on earth. You could literally go. Like, it was the best place you could go. Like, if I could choose one place on the planet to go from ages, I don't know, 6 to 10 or something like that. I don't know. It was Showbiz Pizza.
For me, it was Showbiz Pizza. The skating rink was number 2.
Yeah, skating rink was awesome too.
It felt similar to
Also
that.
had video games,
Yeah.
not as many.
Same feel, though.
Yeah.
Dark
yeah.
and sticky.
Yeah, it was, and that was what was so cool about Showbiz is like they had this, they had the ball pit and they had kind of the ticket games and stuff, but then they had this like seedy back room with like 20, 30 arcade cabinets all jammed together. You could probably smoke in there. It was really dark.
smoke in there.
And it was just like that. That was the cool part of Showbiz. It was all cool.
Yeah.
But that was the heart of Showbiz.
And
to
you know
me.
they had pinball machines up in there.
Oh, and they had some great pinball machines.
That's probably
up
why I
in
love
that piece.
pinball.
Yeah. Okay, good. I'm glad we
All right.
we covered that.
We've covered it.
Brian, did you have any more script flipping?
And
to
one
do?
more
Yeah,
besides
sure.
the aesthetic. I had the I enjoyed the dream theory and the finding your memories concept. Now, I didn't think it fit the movie. I didn't think it belonged in the movie, but I did appreciate the little touching on the dream theory and the sort of, because there's the whole concept of like, well, is everything you've ever seen stored in there? Is it not? The kind of consciousness, subconscious memory.
I did
It's
love
a fun
that. Was
thing
great.
to think about.
Yeah, really
the,
well done.
The fact that Mike was like sleeping as much as he could to like get as much information as he can,
Yeah.
or as he could from the dream. That is a cool idea. I agree, and
it's
that was
like-
on my list.
It
of
was
cool
like
things.
it was like he was plugging into the Matrix
To
every time he went to sleep.
Nice. Good.
Buckle your seatbelt, Dorothy. Because Kansas is going bye-bye.
Yeah.
Great. So great connection to that, but also to one of our previous episodes with Vanilla Sky, the lucid dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like he was taking advantage of his dream abilities to put the soundtrack on of the forest and then also just force himself to sleep. That was just wildly interesting.
Yeah.
And I think
Agreed.
they could have done a little.
Do you agree that it didn't seem that it fit in the movie, even if it was interesting, or do you disagree?
I think it got a little too campy when like it's the dream started to tell stories to the actual story, and I'm like, those aren't your. Maybe they were his. I guess they were his memories
Yeah.
because they were actual kids that were kidnapped, but like that was not connected to him in any way, shape, or form. He just kind of filled that in as the movie
so
came on. But
yes and no.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes
we'll
and
get
no.
into that stuff. I wanted to say what I did like about the movie, and again, that's the reason why. I mean, a 38 to me is, if I could sum that score up, that's a bad movie, but I didn't hate it. It didn't make me upset. So, flipping script for you, Nick.
Yeah, I got a few things to add. 100% agree on the kind of sleep detective work. That was cool. Just the high concept, the premise in general, I thought was very good. The game gets credit for it, obviously, but it still stands for the movie. The idea that like there are these children like haunting these, or literally sort of their bodies are like inside these haunted animatronic monsters is interesting.
very horrifying.
It's almost like, how can you fuck this up?
Yeah, if this was like a hard R and had no video game precedent or anything like that, this could have been something pretty special, I feel like. But because it's a great idea. But it just kind of got neutered, because it's a kid's game, sort of.
Do you think at any point they wanted this to be an R? Or do you think
No.
they
No,
fully
no way.
expected
Absolutely
it?
not.
Okay.
This movie was made to make money with
Yeah.
a guaranteed built-in audience, which it absolutely did. And again, not to tease Brian's corner too much, but I'm going to get into why I don't think this had to be R and how it could have been different. So,
Just a couple other quick things here. Yeah, Matthew Lillard and that character could have been much more, but enjoyed that slim piece of the movie. But
did you guys know that was him when he was the job placement guy?
No.
I didn't
Not
recognize
a,
him.
not a, nope.
I didn't know it was him till later. I was like, oh shit.
Oh
that's
no,
Matthew
the job
Lillard.
placement guy. Yes, I did know he was the job placement. When he took I didn't know he was the character inside the
Oh, okay.
costume.
I did not recognize him as Matthew Lillard.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't want to believe that man was that old, because that means I'm old. Because he was young in Scream.
He was 25 years ago. You're correct.
That was 25 years ago. Scream was 27
97,
years ago.
96.
Holy crap.
Yeah, we're old. Okay. A couple other quick things here. The 3 sort of miscreant vandals getting killed was a fun sequence, I thought. I wanted more once again, but I just thought that was it was sort of the fun and games portion of the film, according to Blake Snyder's breakdown of how you write a screenplay. So, anyways, I just thought that was a cool and fun part.
Did you enjoy Max getting pulled into the suit and chopped in half?
Wait, who was Max again?
The girl, right here, the scene where Fozzie Fazbear, Fazbear,
yes,
and she gets pulled. You almost think because she was kind of the most reticent, and she was hesitant.
Like she might have some
be,
sort of
and the other people were
redemption.
purely skeezy, and then
Right.
for them to sort of give her the grisliest death. I don't know if that was just bad taste or really good subversion, but
And not only that, did you guys not catch as we watched this scene? It's just a big animatronic, bear, right? Is it the bear?
yeah, it's
And I don't think
bear.
they explored this anymore, other than the mention of the children's bodies were physically inside the dolls, and they were chopped to pieces to stay inside of them.
yeah,
But a hand jumps out and grabs her,
yeah.
like a child's hand. or
Yeah,
whatever.
like a literal child's hand.
Yeah.
We'll get into that. We'll get into the the shape shifting nonsense. Fun and games. You like that? Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, nope.
Okay. All right. We got all of that bullshit out of the way. Let's go. Let's start razzing it.
Okay.
Critical Mess, everybody. Welcome to
Mess.
Critical Mess.
Yes. What do we do next? I guess we talk about themes. Themes.
I'll tell you what. This movie had themes.
Enlighten us.
Oh. Well, I think letting go of the past is a very solid one. I think that Josh, Mark? What's
Who
his name?
cares? Josh Hutcherson.
Something or other.
Mike.
He's clearly hell-bent on bringing his brother back from the dead, Garrett. He's stuck on the guilt of letting Garrett.
No, he wanted
get
to murder
taken.
the guy that stole.
Yeah, he was like,
I'm
had
gonna
a
hunt him down.
vendetta. Yeah, he was trying to find this guy, and then we find later he actually wants to change the past because the kids are like, do you want to know the guy or do you actually want to change the past? Yada, yada. And by the end of the movie, I guess the theme is he understands how important Abby is to him because she's what he still has. Garrett's gone and he lets go. So there's a theme of letting go of the past, and then there's sort of a side tangent of learning to love who is in your life, which I guess that's kind of part A and part B of two sides of the same coin. So he does learn to love who's in his life and not take them for granted, and stop being obsessed with Garrett. To me, that's a very strong theme, and it's very present in the movie. Doesn't do much for how I rated it, but it's there.
And there is a theme.
Yeah,
You can disagree. I'm just
No, I
yeah,
No,
it's my
strongly
opinion.
agree.
I
That's
think
true.
you're onto it, Brian. I mean, I think my sort of theme, is kind of adjacent. I think there was something here to like just the idea of like kind of like growing up, taking responsibility, taking care of business, just handling a bad situation and how to handle it like an adult. I think that kind of that idea was present throughout. But yeah, that correlates a little bit with what
That's
you're
a good point.
saying.
Actually, that is a separate theme because he like in real life he goes from he doesn't see he's a fit parent, and by the end he's like, I'm going to raise this girl. So yeah, great call out there.
Yep, exactly. I think I strongly agree with both of you guys. But yeah, definitely Nick, when he obviously shows like arrogance and just hatred towards his own sister towards the beginning of the movie, and you just watch it full circle. So it's a
Yeah.
great little catch there.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk arcs?
There was just Mike's arc. That was the only one. And I kind of hit on that in themes. He learns to appreciate what he's got, and it's a straightforward arc. Not a lot of nuance. It's been done a million times before. Is there another one I'm missing?
Yeah, what do you mean? What are you talking about? The children, the kids, the animatronics, the 4 base characters that came back and they uprised against their leader.
I have a
the
problem.
rabbit.
I see where
No?
you're coming from. I have a problem with that arc because it
Oh, it's
wasn't
not great
because it
but-
wasn't an arc. It was a
Yeah, it was a
it was a
realization.
triangle. It was like a sharp, just all of a sudden complete change of
Yeah.
direction for what I thought was an unearned.
There was no
thing.
process building
Yeah.
up to it. But yeah, I understand what you're saying.
It was a change. It was a change.
The other possible arc, kind of a weak arc, is Cop Girl. She shoots Daddy.
I got a huge problem with her.
We're gonna talk all about her
Huge problem with Vanessa.
probably in our most legendary segment.
Vanessa Ness.
All right, we've covered arcs. Now, as this small bunny approaches me.
So
Not sure
cute.
what it
So
wants.
furry.
I don't have any more carrots.
With
Shout
the
out.
sharp, pointy
Shout,
teeth.
shout out to Chocolate Chip running around while we're recording.
Chocolate chip.
We'll post a photo of chocolate chip on the Instagram.
Perfect.
Okay,
Yep,
if you wanna-
exactly.
But only if we get 1 like.
We have to get 1 like.
We're like those Twitch streamers. Give me 5 subs and I'll do this and that.
We're doing this for fun.
All right. Now it's time. Now it's time. It's time to go to a special place.
Is it time?
A place that makes us all feel
Feel-
uncomfortable.
You guys thirsty for suicides? I got Coke mixed with Mountain Dew, mixed with Sprite, mixed with High C,
Deeply uncomfortable.
and root beer.
It's Brian's Corner. Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Hey everyone, welcome to Brian's Corner. I'd like to talk about how this movie could be better. And I'd like to know if you guys agree or disagree. Whoops, I scrolled all the way down to Snakes on a Plane.
Agree.
I saw my
too
first
soon?
point on Brian's Corner. Let's talk planes. I was like, what the fuck? Okay, wait, I gotta scroll up here. Sorry, I've been saving my notes.
In the same
Here it is.
document? What kind of a psychopath are you?
5 things I would have done differently if I made FNAF. Number 1, lean harder into the mystery. Don't directly connect the murdered kids to the robots. So there was too much explanation there. When I was a kid, those fucking animatronics were scary because I didn't know what the hell they were or what they were capable
Or what
of.
was inside of them.
Yeah. And the mystery was what was scary about them. So the fact that they just showed these 5 kids, these normal kids, and aside from the one scene where the kid had the black tears, other than that, they were just these kids. And it's like, and sometimes the robots would shapeshift into the kids and they would just be sitting there talking to them in real life. And then it would be the robot again. And then, I don't know. It's like, lean into the mystery, man. Let
Yeah,
these things live in the shadows.
Easy agree.
Thank you.
Yeah, agree strongly.
Number 2, go full early 90s with the time period and give it a stranger vibe and production design. So I said stranger because in my mind I was thinking Stranger Things. A stronger vibe and production design. The reason I say that is because this movie is supposed to have taken place. I don't know what.
I was just about to ask that question. What year is this? I don't know.
Well, the cars are like early 2000s.
I think
late
it's
90s.
just. I think
was
it's just an old town. I don't think it's like.
I don't think this is modern day.
I think it's modern day.
You think it
no,
is?
No. This is not modern.
No.
Oh, you don't think so?
No, he's using a tape deck the whole time.
Right. And also, I'll say another reason I think so is because Vanessa, how old would you put Vanessa in this movie? The cop?
Ooh.
27?
Yeah, late
Sure.
20s, early 30s.
She said she grew up in the 80s going to this place, so she'd have to be in her 40s. So I think that's another example, unless they just cast her completely wrong.
Yeah.
I
She's
took
too
this as,
young.
if I had to guess, I would have said like 98, 99. That would
Okay.
have been my guess on this.
Well, I think they could have gone way harder if they would have went like 90 or 91, make it much more of a period piece. Because aside from the tape deck and some phones, it felt like, Grizz, perfect case in point, you thought it was modern day. I kind of did too. Stranger Things. That's top of mind for everybody with a sort of
Best example, I think, of recency.
just vibey kind of, that embrace and romanticism of 80s, 90s synth, kind of dark Stephen King-ishness, right? This movie was just made this year. Go hard into that, man. Go full, like, early
they would have
90s
grabbed
production.
way more audience, I think.
Yeah, they
honestly.
would have got the older audience, you know? So anyway, I think that would have been more atmospheric. Would have just made it better. Number 3, implement the lore via kids telling stories to each other, a la Goonies, and minimize adult characters.
I don't like kids, so no.
Okay? Let me just explain. I think it's way creepier when you have a movie like Goonies and you've got these kids telling lore and stories about these like things and you're kind of not sure what exists. I'd rather there be kids telling stories about like, did you hear my uncle this and somebody this. There was no lore around this place. It was just a place that was sort of discovered.
Only if you have a good child actor.
So
because you get a bad child actor trying to tell lore stories, and it's
Let's be honest.
It's
Any of
tough.
those kids probably could have acted better than 90% of this cast.
well, I think I agree with you, and I also think that's beside the point because by very assumption of me saying that you have good
Yeah.
child actors. So that's how you make this movie better. You have sort of like this sort of legend and mythos around this place, and there was none of that. That was all told to us.
Built around the classic, like us being 80s, 90s babies, like trying to build off of the idea of like we would tell those stories. They were connected and they were told via school. And
Yes,
like there was no
exactly.
internet age of us seeing it on social media. It was like story past a story past a story.
It's the adage of show don't tell. We were told everything we were supposed to think about this place. Show it by a different mechanism. That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
Number 4, use what I call the black box gimmick, where and I just made that up, but it's where it's like that device in a paranormal or weird movie where people can't figure out what's going on with some sort of item or location, and it gives it like a paranormal aura. So like
Sort of the MacGuffin.
it's what's kind of the
MacGuffin.
MacGuffin. Think of like The Ring, how like it's that videotape, and she like kind of scrolls the analog tracking kind of over, and she finds that fly that and you're like,
yeah.
wait a minute, how is that possible?
Yeah.
I kind of a couple examples here. Like for instance, you could have somebody say like, how can the lights be on in there? There hasn't been power service to the building in 6 years. Like those weird that can't happen. So there's got to be something, but you don't explain it. You just
Or why the
present-
building fell down when they pulled the electrical, like the whole building was physically falling down.
I had that
It's
in my other points, or like people are taking cameras inside the building, and every time they develop them, it just comes out blank. Like just do something like that gives it this aura, that is
mystery,
mysterious.
something. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And my last
Can you-
one.
Before
Sorry,
you
go
go
ahead.
on, do you want to describe MacGuffin real quick?
So, well, I think we can describe it for you, Ben, but our audience is smart enough to know what a MacGuffin is. A great example is The Ring in Lord of the Rings. The MacGuffin is like
I think didn't Hitchcock come up with it?
that's a good
Yeah.
question.
I mean,
think
he was
Hitchcock-
famous for it.
Yeah, or he at least kind of, and I think the best example for me was always the briefcase in Pulp Fiction. It's kind of like an item that you don't like really know what it is or what it does,
but
you just
know its importance.
if there's something very special about it.
And it has a magical, mythical power to it.
Right,
that
and I think
everybody
and,
wants.
and
or
I think
needs.
crucially, it never quite really gets explained.
So basically, my number 4 point, because Nick is a wordsmith, he was able to say in one word what I just took 500 words to say. So I'm changing my number 4 point to have a MacGuffin.
Our in-house copywriter, everybody.
Thank you,
They
Nick.
did well.
Appreciate
Thank
that.
you, thank you.
That's why we're in the ad business.
And guess who writes the descriptions of our episodes? And by the way, if you haven't read them, please go back and read them because honestly, you should just read the description to every episode and not listen to them because the description's way better than the entire episode.
It's chocolate chip, everybody.
It's Chocolate Chip the Bunny writing for
The
it.
small 1-year-old rabbit.
And my last one, it's a short one, guys. Number 5, something I would have done differently if I made this movie. Do something way cooler with that fucking ball pit.
Yeah,
Trapdoor or
that seems like a softball.
Yeah.
Yeah, agree. Yeah.
Thank you for joining me at Brian's Corner. We've got the greatest ice in our suicides, the little small crumbly ice that you find in Slurpees.
I feel like some
Pebble
people
ice.
aren't gonna. Can you explain what
That's a pretty
suicide
harsh
is?
word.
It
to
is because
use.
it is a harsh word, and I think some people might not know what
Yep.
you're referring to.
So please don't flag us if you're listening to this episode. A suicide is simply when you go up to a fountain Coke machine and you fill your Coke with equal parts of every single possible option on the fountain machine. So I typically, when you're a kid, you mix Mountain Dew and Pepsi or Coke or whatever. But
yeah, my suicides tend to have a lot of Hawaiian punch
yeah, that's
for obvious reasons.
got to give that little tang. So
Yeah.
thanks for joining me, everybody. See you next time on Brian's Corner.
Da-na-na-na-na-na.
So good.
This is Critical Mess. We're sponsored by Johnny D. We're sponsored by Michter's. Well, I think it was time to get into our most, I guess I would say, our most timeless segment. A segment that I would call indelible,
Iconic?
enduring, iconic. Yes, immemorial,
What was that word you couldn't say? Inimitable.
inimitable. Good,
Yeah.
nice,
Did I do it?
well done.
You did it.
You did
I
it.
did it.
I'd call it maybe even distinguished, sensational,
Ooh. Oh shit! You're just blowing my mind.
somewhat controversial
Well, yeah.
from time to time. From time to time.
Can I also say authoritative?
I think it could be.
It's a bold claim.
That word's big for you.
You get extra points. Extra points for that word. The segment in question is Crossfire. I mean, slow burn.
Crossfire. You'll get caught up in it.
Slow burn.
So we're going to burn it slow. Or we're going to rapid fire. I don't know. We never really know what happens.
Or
And that's what
both
makes
at-
it fun.
Both at the same time.
It's a true shit
right.
show, people.
So here we go. Let's just jump right into this shit show. Okay. I had no idea when I turned this movie on last night that it was a Blumhouse movie. That caught me off guard. I didn't know they got into PG-13, quite frankly. I don't remember ever seeing. They've done a shitload of movies, but so they've probably done some PG-13 movies before. But not that I can recall.
I didn't know that. I thought they
Nate-
were all horror, like R.
What are a couple Blumhouse movies?
So
Every horror movie.
Right, but like
they did.
name a
So, so they some of the big franchises they're involved with. So all the Purge movies
Right.
would be Blumhouse. They did Prey. They did like the new Halloween movies. They do all those. I will say, actually, I think probably the two best Blumhouse movies are not horror movies, and not even really horror adjacent, which is kind of weird. I think the two best Blumhouse movies are Whiplash, excellent movie if you haven't seen it, and Upgrade.
I was just about to say, if you don't say Upgrade, yep, Upgrade.
Yeah, Upgrade
Absolutely
is
brilliant
is
movie.
one of my favorite movies of the last, I guess maybe maybe it's a little older than 5 years, 10 years.
And I didn't know they did Whiplash.
Yes, they
It's
did
one of
Whiplash.
my favorite movies. of all
Whiplash
time.
Whiplash is
Yeah, I didn't know
great
that either.
movie.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, they've done a shitload of horror movies. One movie
The
they
Invisible
did,
Man was a really good one they recently did.
The Invisible. I didn't love it.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Elizabeth Olsen was really good.
Get into her.
I wasn't a big fan of that movie. But
Same
anyways,
director
maybe
of
another,
Upgrade, I think.
Maybe
That's
another
one.
episode.
Yeah.
One Blumhouse movie I actually really liked from the last couple of years was Freaky with Vince Vaughn. I don't know if any of you guys saw
Oh yeah,
that.
that was fun.
That was a fun
Yeah, that was a
movie.
good one, yeah.
that was a fun film. So anyways, Blumhouse has done a lot of movies. I was surprised to see that they were attached to this movie.
Well, I'll tell you what Blumhouse does right. They make a profit. Every
Yes.
movie they do is like a 10x.
Well, I have to say, I can't confirm this is true, but I'm pretty sure that horror as a genre has got to be the most profitable.
I think it's
movie
I think it's the
genre.
most lucrative
Has
genre.
to be because it's never, you're not going to get a $300 million horror movie. You're just not.
Yeah, and you also have the built-in horror crowd that's going to go see it. So it's a very kind of nuanced genre.
Yeah, yeah. So okay, Blumhouse. Thoughts on Blumhouse? You guys like Blumhouse movies, or do we trust Blumhouse?
Nick, you said the two best Blumhouse movies, and kudos because they're
Yeah,
both amazing.
typically I know going in, I'm like, yeah, this is going to be a solid little horror flick. So never disappointed.
And
Yeah.
hey, do we love that Blumhouse intro graphic? It's
cool.
pulling backwards through the house.
It's cool.
Cool stuff. Yeah.
And I'll say with every pretty much Blumhouse movie I've seen, like I've seen some not very good Blumhouse movies, this one included, but you're always going to hit like a certain standard. And I feel like this movie was kind of the lowest of the standards, but it still kind of hit a certain standard of just like
Visually, tone.
yeah, exactly,
Yeah, did pretty well.
of just professional quality.
Yeah.
that
Same
you
with
can expect from them.
A24, even though A24 is also kind of on the downswing with recent movies, but I think they're also in that echelon of like, they're going to be very good quality visually.
I think the
Yeah.
difference between the two production companies is A24, where Blumhouse is going to make money. A24 is going to
Yeah.
make good movies, not
Yeah.
necessarily money.
That's
But,
true.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's
As we
over-
know that A24 is now struggling to make money with their movies, so
Yeah.
they're seeing it.
I think they make much more indie stuff and
Yeah,
and-
for sure.
yeah.
All right.
Wow, we've
Slow burn as advertised.
One out of 100 people. We'll be here 3 more hours.
Slow burn as advertised. All right. Next up, I want to talk air ducts. Air ducts. There was a lot of crawling through air ducts.
I had a question
in this,
about
in this
that.
movie. First of all, air ducts are not big or sturdy enough to house humans. That's just a fact. And I think that kind of gets abused over and over again in film. People crawling through air ducts.
What's the best
it's,
air duct film in a movie?
It's obviously Die Hard.
Nope.
Die
Of
Hard.
course. Mission
Come on,
Impossible.
John McClane.
Mission fucking Impossible with
Hard
the rat
disagree.
and the pulling and the
Yeah,
mainframe.
Mission Impossible.
Oh, there was
also
a little
good one.
rat inside that air duct in this movie too. So yeah. There you
Yeah.
go.
Anyways, and I will even though it's the best movie of all time, I will shame Die Hard a little bit for having an unrealistic air duct sequence.
I remember that being in the trailer though. That's probably the most iconic.
Guys,
Did you wear your John
guys,
McClane watch?
What
tonight?
about remember Blue
Not
Streak?
today. Oh,
Yeah.
Remember the Blue Streak whole air duct thing?
totally.
Oh.
Oh, that was such a.
You know what,
good-
Ben? I think
Yeah.
I've seen Blue Streak probably more than any other movie.
It's
Period.
that was one of my first Blu-rays.
with Martin
And so-
Lawrence and
yeah.
Wha-
oh my god,
That movie was just ubiquitous. I saw it like 3 times in the theater. Like I bought it. I don't even know why. It's not even that good.
It's not, but it's funny.
It's fun.
Yeah.
We should ask that
Yeah.
question as the next icebreaker. What's the movie you've seen the most
That's
times?
a good one. I like that. Yeah, that's a good one.
Okay.
Okay.
2 out of 100. All right. What's 3?
Mike just beating the shit out of that guy in the fountain. I was just laughing. I just thought that was just ridiculous.
Didn't make any sense.
And didn't make any sense.
It would
And
never happen.
Just our protagonist just beating the shit out of this innocent man in front of his child.
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, I thought it was funny only because of how ridiculous it was. It was so stupid.
He didn't just tackle the guy into the fountain. He then proceeded to punch him like 7 times in the face.
Oh, he beat the
He
shit out
like
of him.
killed the man.
Yeah, that was
In front of his
almost
his
manslaughter.
Tiny child.
That was close.
This little baby child is screaming for daddy, and he's just beating and this is our protagonist?
And I'm sorry, guys, but when I read the plot on Wikipedia, the plot said after Mike accidentally beats up a negligent father, and I'm sorry, but I've got 3 kids. That father was not negligent.
No,
that
he
little
was-
piece of shit boy needed to act right, and that father had every right to grab his arm angrily.
100%. Yeah, that was that Nebraska poster. Oh my God, it was hideous. Like, get a cooler poster.
No one would ever take a picture of trees like that and make that be the tourism picture for their state.
I missed it. I don't know what you guys are talking about.
That was kind of a.
It was above his bed, and then he tried to
ripped
tear
it
it down and put it
down.
behind his. It was
Oh,
where he
like at the
fall asleep.
beginning of
okay,
the movie.
gotcha. Oh yeah,
It was
that's
like
right.
it was
Oh,
like
yeah.
a long.
That's right. It was the
long
visual
lens
for him.
zoom in to the
Yeah.
top of like 3 trees.
Yeah.
It was framed wrong. It was very.
Yeah,
strange.
we're not talking Freddy Got Fingered. We're talking Five Nights at Freddy's. Just a quick reminder: this is Critical Mess. The '80s training video that was shown to Mike as
Loved it.
kind of the. I loved it too.
Nick, it didn't train on anything.
No, it was stupid. No. I love just the fact that they included that idea, and it was a stupid sequence. But I want to say, if you ever want to go down a fun YouTube rabbit hole, start watching '80s training videos.
You're gonna say
There's
this.
great
It's so
ones,
good.
like Pizza Hut, Blockbuster.
I did this a handful of years ago.
I'm
It's
immediately going to do
brilliant.
this tonight. I
It's
can't wait.
so fun.
Yeah, there's like MCL cafeteria. You know, there's like all these sort of like
Yes.
weird like '80s like especially like food establishments. Those are typically the best ones.
They would spend hundreds of thousands of dollars
Oh,
to
yeah,
make
big
these
money.
things.
And now they would just
they would
ask
put them
the-
on videotapes and then send them to every
Yeah.
franchise.
I remember watching one of those at Circuit City.
Oh, of course. yeah.
God.
So the
I
kind
remember
of like a
Steak and Shake.
Yeah.
yes, yep.
Were you
How
the
to make
VP of
milkshakes.
marketing at Circuit City?
No,
Were you the
I just
VP of
had to get trained.
you know the trend to just say you were the VP of such and such at Circuit City and put it on your resume because nobody was going to call them.
Call them.
Well,
yeah.
When
I
I worked
forgot
there,
about
they
that.
were more legit. Did you have to watch a Chili's training video, April? Probably. She
So-
probably did.
So one of the most legendary ones is Old Country Buffet. Check out. There's like a video of like the carver. You know, he's like the guy that cuts your chunk of meat, and just kind of your what your demeanor should be as the carver. What
Can't
your-
wait to watch that.
It's great. It's just a
But
great.
just
rabbit
can we
hole.
come back to the fact that training video literally did not train anything. It just talked about their
they didn't-
animatronics.
Yeah, they didn't really deliver on that.
So,
But I like
they
that
tried
they
to
like
pull one over on
included.
us.
Yeah, it was like a cool idea. They didn't pull off.
It should have been more of like an advertisement video. Anyway, that's nitpicking.
Well, and I think part of that the video was, and this is kind of gets to my next point, is that like it was kind of like staticking out. I know that's not a word, but there was kind of like there was sort of like these disruptions in the middle of it. They were meant to be creepy.
And that
Right.
speaks into Brian's corner number 4, where it's like, give me something paranormal. And I remember I liked that. I was
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Ooh,
That
this
was
is
kind of a
kinda creepy."
paranormal. Yeah, right. And so, and that leads to kind of my next point. Like just TV static. It's creepy. Why? I don't know why. It just is.
I think it's because it's just hard to see.
It's
and you can't-
analog.
and it's hard. Like you can't, especially in horror movies, because you don't know what you're looking at exactly. It's pixelated, and like there's that mystery to it. I think that's the best
Yeah.
part about it.
No, I'll tell you exactly why. You get that white noise through the air. You get what we see now through a cable. And the air is much more ethereal and scary and haunted than a cable where you can directly pinpoint that signal. That's my answer.
Yeah, but we can all agree that TV static is just kind of a creepy thing
Uh-huh.
in the right environment.
100%.
Anyway, Grizz, this one's for you, buddy.
Here we go.
I saw a tight close up of a G-Shock.
I didn't even see it.
Oh my
Great look.
Wow.
This guy
You're
didn't even
supposed to
see
be the watch
G-Shock?
guy.
I don't know
Dang.
if I need to give Nick points
Nick,
for noticing
high
that or
five,
deduct
dude.
points from Grizz for not
Yeah.
noticing it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
High five, buddy. Who was wearing it?
Good job, Nick.
I think it was Mike.
Was he?
I believe it was Mike. Don't quote me
man.
on that 100%, but there was it took up most of the frame, a G-Shock for a minute.
Dang.
Yes.
Outside of Deep Blue Sea, I really haven't looked at a whole lot of watches and movies since we've started this little segment of mine. But
Wow.
dang, good
Looks
look.
like we're
You-
not
you've
getting
got me
new
paying
watches.
attention
See,
to
now I
watch
got
it.
you guys hooked on it.
Either that or you went and watched Napoleon right after and it wiped your memory.
Yeah, they had tons of watches in that movie. Tons of them.
Okay. I want to talk about our antagonist. It's that aunt or aunt. What do we
Jane.
say? Do we say aunt or aunt?
It's Ant. What are you, a monster?
Ant.
It's
aunt.
Ant.
Yeah, I mean that's what I say too.
Do you live in
Okay.
Georgia?
We almost kicked you in the head
Just
right
take
now.
take a deep breath. Deep breath.
I'm sorry, I came out to get real hot on that one.
I know. Real
Apologize.
I go aunt.
I was ready to boot you in the
Forgive me.
forehead.
But some say aunt, but I do say aunt. Okay.
In New England, maybe.
her her motive. Her motive was like a child tax credit. Like what the fuck? Like,
Which
that
she
was-
would then have to spend on raising the child that she now has.
That made no sense.
Made no
that was
sense.
so stupid. She wants to take on the burden of this disabled child for the tax credit.
She was a contrived character. Yeah. Didn't need to be there. at
Very
all.
strange. Very strange.
Hey, that was rapid.
That was
Yeah,
pretty
good,
quick.
good.
Way to go, guys.
I want to talk about light horror, which is what this is. Not to be confused with light horror. This is light.
Wait, I'm still confused which
Horror.
of the two you've started with. What are we not confusing it with? Horror or horror?
3 R's.
Okay. That's the one we are doing.
That's the one we are doing.
Light
yes.
horror. Okay.
Light.
All right.
If you're in New England, horror. Is it a good genre? Do
and
we like
ought.
this? Do we like this genre? I struggle with this genre because I just want just rip the Band-Aid off. Give me the real horror.
I'm only okay if it's a special movie like The Goonies. I know I've already mentioned
Yeah,
The Goonies,
yeah.
but it has to
Oh.
be like The Goonies. That's
Okay.
a light horror movie to me.
So, doing this research, I wanted to look up other horror movies that were rated PG-13 that I enjoyed or were highly rated.
Ooh, Grizz's
So,
Corner.
I like this.
this is 5 movies that I listed out. Not some of them are great, some are not. So, Sixth Sense,
Oh,
PG-13.
yeah.
good
Great
one.
movie, yeah.
A Quiet Place, a recent film from 5 years ago.
The first one was good.
Signs, which I did not know was rated PG-13, but
I'm a
I
big
love that
fan of
movie.
Signs.
Yeah,
Huge
Signs is
fan.
good. One of the last Mel Gibson good stuff before he.
Yeah.
Yeah,
unfortunately-
yep. And then these
Before he
last
passed
2
away.
are kind of honorable mentions,
I'm just kidding.
but fan favorites myself. I Am Legend.
I
I know
love
it's
I Am
debate-
Legend.
I know it's debatable, but
Love
I
it.
love that movie.
Yep.
And then
horror?
another one that I think is underrated for Shia LaBeouf is Disturbia.
I've not seen it.
Oh yeah, Disturbia
man,
is good.
yeah.
Should I watch
It is
that?
good actually.
It's-
Yeah,
I think you
It's
should.
pretty
Yeah.
good.
Disturbia is just a remake of Rear Window.
Yeah.
Oh, and I love Rear Window. That's my favorite
yes.
Hitchcock movie.
So
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm in.
it kind of is.
You might,
Yeah.
you might not like it, Disturbia, if you love Rear Window.
So I should.
And if you
okay.
hate Shia LaBeouf, you'll probably just
no,
hate the movie.
I love
but
Shia LaBeouf.
but it's
What?
a similar plot.
you love Shia LaBeouf?
Oh, he does.
I just said that in our last episode.
Oh,
Were you
I
not
missed it.
here
I don't know if
with
I
us?
missed that. I
He
totally.
does.
He was the one I wanted to. What
Wanted
was
to
the
meet.
question?
Yeah, it was who would
hang
you
out
want to hang
with.
out with?
Hang
Yeah.
out with. Yeah.
Oh shoot! Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love Shia LaBeouf.
And I have to say, Mel Gibson, whatever you think of him, Dragged Across Concrete,
Oh yeah, yeah.
pretty solid.
I was so happy to see him back in that. Yeah.
yeah, he's in some good movies.
Yeah.
Bit of
Well,
a
he
bit of a
wrote and
goofball.
directed one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time, so I'm not going to disagree with you.
Sure.
But Ben, did you just say I Am Legend is not a horror movie, or did you question that being a
I
horror
questioned
movie?
it being a horror movie.
Yeah. So I think it was.
I would
Sixth
say
Sense.
zombie movie.
Maybe more of an action zombie movie.
Yeah. So both of those were. I think it was. I Am Legend and Sixth Sense were both under sci-fi, not horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think those belong on that list. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Good-
think so.
good- Those
Yeah.
are 5 good movies.
Solid
Well,
list.
except for Disturbia. I haven't seen it, but I believe you. So nice.
Okay, guys, we're
This
gonna
has
live
been
up.
Grizz's Corner, everybody.
Yeah,
You're
so
welcome.
Can you
joining
name
us.
one item in Grizz's Corner?
Yeah,
One
what's
item?
it like over
Yeah,
there?
what's just one thing you might find? in Grizz's
Mahogany
Corner?
and expensive speakers and stuff.
Yeah,
like
as he
that?
looks behind me. No, I mean, as I'm now in this newly designed basement that I'm working on, I got to look at the sound panel / vintage ads that I sourced all summer.
Vintage
So,
ads.
Yeah.
That's Grizz's
That's
Corner.
Grizz's
so
Corner.
50s,
Love it.
60s ads and 80s ads from a Nike to Adidas to Hertz to Budweiser, everything.
It's like when you're in Grizz's Corner, it's like you're having a martini at Nikki Blaine's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know?
Mad Men
It's-
style.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it's-
where we're at right
it's
now.
it's classy as fuck.
It's
Yeah.
so classy.
Yeah.
We're
What
happy
was-
to be here.
What was the word you
There's a dress
said when
code.
you came down here last week for the first time in a while?
Sophisticated.
Sophisticated.
I
Yeah.
stand by that.
I'm shocked by that word, so I appreciate it.
If you dim these lights a little bit, you can fully take that word and
Yeah.
run with it.
Nice, good call.
All right, guys.
Rapid fire.
Rapid fire. This
fire.
one's not gonna live up to
Oh,
that name.
Slow burn.
Let's talk about the cop. Let's talk about
Vanessa.
the cop.
Do we need to?
Yeah,
Okay.
we
Yeah.
do. So the first thing, she's super cute. Are there any cops this attractive?
No.
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 This is like the perfect teen fantasy.
Yeah.
We're
she
just
does
like
make
this
What,
kind of
Mike
hot-
Lawrence. No,
What?
from Bad Boys.
Oh,
Lowry. Did you say
Mike Lowry.
Lawrence?
Sorry, Mike. Yeah, sorry.
Mike Lowry.
Mike
Lowry,
Mau-
Martin
Mike
Lawrence.
Yeah, we
Lowry.
blended an
sorry.
actor in a.
As the resident bad boy.
But you understood what I was saying right
Well,
away.
yeah, no, Mike Lowry is obviously hot too, but but you know she is. What's her name again, guys?
Vanessa.
Karen. Oh, okay,
Vanessa.
Vanessa.
Yeah.
She's super cute. There's no cops that cute. Even like the little things they did to make her like sexier to the teen boy audience. I mean, it was just kind of like shameless. Like, did you guys notice how they gave her like multiple guns? She had like she was packing.
Oh no, I didn't.
She didn't
notice
just
that.
have one piece.
For a small
No,
town
she had
cop.
that duel. She was ready to give you the dual pistols, the akimbo. So I feel like first of all, that was absolutely ridiculous. Plus she was like just so cool. She's like, "Oh, do you want to dance?" Like this hot cop just shows up. Like I thought this was like it was just ridiculous.
I'm realizing how much of a teen boy fantasy
it
she
was
is
it was
now.
a teen
I'm
boy
realizing that
fantasy
now.
thing that they I mean frankly they did a good job
Yeah.
of working it in.
Yeah, I don't know. It was very random to me that she just showed up, and it was this beautiful blonde police officer from the local town that was in late 20s.
Well, I think they explain that though.
Did they?
They explain it by obviously she's been given that job by her
Right.
crazy father. You need to make sure that whoever's a security guard here doesn't figure anything out. So that
Oh,
part made sense.
I knew that,
So
yeah.
halfway through the movie, I'm thinking that. I'm like, yeah, right.
Yeah,
this cop
exactly.
would
That's
never
what I'm
show up
thinking
and
the
be
whole
like,
time.
Be like, you've been acting suspicious the whole time I've been here, and I'm thinking you've been acting
I know.
suspicious
And
the
he
whole
even
time
asked
I've been
it.
here.
He
I
even
know.
said it out loud. He was like, "What are you doing here?"
Yeah.
And like, you need to explain yourself.
At the very least, they do explain that. Here's my problem with Vanessa. Do you realize that she's the monster of this movie? Or at least one of the two
Yeah,
monsters?
totally. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
totally.
She has known.
She's complicit
her
with this whole thing.
She's complicit. I literally wrote the
Yeah.
word complicit down in my notes. She's complicit in the murders of these kids and like the burying of all of that, and then in this entire time, and then she just,
She's
comes
horrible.
around at the very end.
Give me Danny DeVito in this role.
And
Like that bumps this movie up 35 points.
yeah, actually,
Holy
there you go.
shit! Yes.
Like
But she, because at the end she's sort of like treated heroically, like she's a great person and she
Yeah,
did
yeah,
the right
it's-
thing.
it's terrible.
They shouldn't have done that. Bad
Absolutely
tone, bad
terrible.
form, Jack.
terrible. Yeah, I had actually a lot of notes on this subject about how
Vanessa?
upset I was.
Well, she's the
just the
main
whole
character of the
situation.
movie, so I'm glad
The
we're
way
hitting this.
that she's just willing to listen to Mike and just like sit down with him and have like a fucking therapy session. I mean, does she have anything better to do than just sit around, and just listen to his sob story? Like, I mean, like, doesn't she have people to like arrest or tickets to give or something? Like, she's like just sitting by the canal talking to this fucking guy about his
that weird like industrial pipe canal that's like in the most depressing. Sorry, side note.
It was
But
just
yeah,
odd.
What's she doing? Her beat. This place is on her beat, but then it's like her job is from her dad. It's almost like she's a planted cop at this place and employed by her dad, who is somehow also the murderer and also the social or the job placement guy.
The small town social
What
worker
the
/
fuck?
job placement. Yeah. Very
How is he
convenient.
all of the things?
He owns that town.
And then and so maybe that's the only reason why, Nick, that she is there, because she's like being secretly like, paid or placed there by whatever conspiracy, but they never explain that.
Yeah, I just kind of hated it. I hated that character.
Yep, hated.
Let's talk the kind of child abduction angle. That seemed like a heavy, dark topic for a PG-13 movie where this guy is abducting children and torturing them to death.
Yeah, putting them inside animatronics and smashing their bodies.
Yeah, I
to
mean
fit
that just
inside.
seemed like a lot for PG-13. Obviously, they couldn't show a lot, but it seemed like the theme balance was just a little weird in that they went for something super dark in a PG-13 movie, and so they couldn't quite go to the depths they needed to pull it off, I guess.
I do
That's
respect
a good way to put it.
I do respect a PG-13 movie that leaves a little bit of mystery for you to just be like, oh, holy shit, like they're really just gutting these children and throwing them inside animatronics, but I don't think you need to show it, or else that would just be over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, here, another Blumhouse movie, Black Phone.
I need to
dealt
see
with
that. Was
children.
it good?
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good.
Is it okay? I
It's
need to
pretty
see it.
good.
I was
And it's-
excited
and it's
to see
R.
that.
It's a hard R.
Yeah.
And it's
But that's a
in-
child abduction, like
Right.
heavy
Yeah,
theme
yeah.
movie.
It looked really good because who's in that?
Ethan Hawke.
Ethan Hawke,
Yeah, he was having a little comeback there for a little bit. So
I like that you're hitting on that though, Nick, because like you can sometimes thematically the sort of deep, dark kind of scary themes. Like they don't like, even though you're not showing anything that can't be put in a PG-13, it's almost like thematically like be careful with that kind of stuff. Like that's just it takes me to a whole different, like my brain waves change when I'm starting to think about that kind of stuff, and then I come back to this ludicrous, campy, Chuck E. Cheese movie, and it's like tonally, it's not quite. It took me out of it.
Yeah. Yep. This one will hopefully be fast. I mean, just like the psychic, creepy little girl. I mean, I just wrote bleh. Bleh.
You're talking about Abby, his little
Yeah.
sister.
Boring.
You guys know she looks. Ben, you might want to get ready for this statement, but she to me in her face, she looked a lot like the boy on The Matrix who bent the spoons.
What is the Matrix?
I honestly didn't know where you're going with
I
that.
saw your finger like go to four
Scrambling.
different buttons.
Here's where I was. Here's where I was headed. I thought you were going to tell a joke, and I was going to go.
Oh shit, my bad. I just thought you knew I was
but-
coming up with a Matrix reference.
But Ben, you nailed the right one.
Yeah,
which
that was
very
thank you.
important.
Good job. But actually, I do genuinely think she looked like him. But also, I agree with you. She was out of place.
Just like psychic, creepy little girl. It's just a stupid trope.
I'm gonna
It's
go
just
home and ask
stupid.
my son tomorrow. Is she in the game? I'm curious if she is part of the game lore. I actually am curious about that. So.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
funny. I'm not curious at all.
God bless you.
So here's one thing that bothered me a little bit. There was at one point Mike says he literally has to say out loud to the audience, "It's ghost children inhabiting robots." Ooh, ouch.
I've had it with these motherfucking snakes.
Yeah, I know. I mean, damn.
I think that's where they lost all credibility. there.
Man, couldn't we have gotten there without hitting
Yeah.
it right on the nose like that? That was just frustrating.
And
They had
also,
to
that's
say that.
stupid. Ghost children inhabiting animatronics. That's too many things together at once that results in nothing.
Yeah. Here's a quote I wrote down from the attractive cop. "If you bring Abby back here, I will shoot you."
Right after she's having a great time there with Abby, with all the animatronics, and they build the fort. They're having a wonderful time.
Right.
She
And then
threatens to
Abby
murder
goes
Mike.
and strums a guitar, and then, "If you bring her back here, I'll shoot you." Did I watch the AMC Plus version of this where I missed 10 minutes?
No, yeah, I thought that
Yeah.
was like a weird, like almost like a
Jarring.
yeah, it's very
Didn't make
just
sense.
an odd line.
It's a non sequitur.
I thought she was kidding.
They
But
cut
I
it.
don't
They
think she
had to
was.
cut a scene that explained why you don't strum the guitar. I don't know.
They must have bad editing
Or
there.
something.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think she literally wanted to bust a cap in Mike. That was my takeaway.
Like figuratively? Figuratively?
No, I mean she wanted to shoot him in the head.
Oh.
Yeah. That's what she threatened to do. Didn't make a lot of sense. But then again, this was a shitty movie, so maybe it does make sense. The aunt that was going after Abby, the girl, she seemed nice. I liked her. I thought she was fun. She wanted to engage with the family. I thought she wanted to be part of Abby's life.
You caught me off guard. I was reading one of my lines.
Go
here.
ahead.
I'm like, what?
Go ahead.
Is there
Continue.
another ant?
The aunt. It was the aunt versus aunt.
Good job, Nick.
Ah, gosh.
You really played that part for like 8 seconds, which is pretty good. She was terrible.
Yeah. Here's a big problem I kind of have with this movie, and frankly, I kind of have with a lot of Blumhouse movies that are in the kind of the straight horror genre, is that the comic relief is either shitty or not present at all. And this was a very half-assed attempt at doing some comic relief with this like lawyer.
That was for levity.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're right.
rough,
Terrible.
terrible. At least they tried, I guess.
Awkward at best.
But he was bad.
I
He
forgot
was
about
not
him. I'm going
funny.
to go down to a 37.
Yeah, I'm down to a 20. I'm down to 22.
Okay, all right.
I'm going 45 to 39.
Yes,
We're pushing
whoa,
it down,
we are
guys.
Really trending down. Question, guys.
Mine
why
went up to
does-
59.
Oh, shoot.
I'm just kidding.
That's like a
No,
D
that-
minus.
Own it, dude. Own it.
On the brink of a D minus.
Guys, why does Mr. Raglan, who is the job placement guy for Mike, why does he not notice Mike's last name until the 4th time he places him at a job? Do you remember that? He's like, oh, you went to this job for this time and this job, and he's like placing these jobs.
yeah.
And then he goes, Mr. Mike,
Right, and like freaks out.
and he like
kinda.
freaks out at
yeah.
his last name.
Yeah, that's weird.
There's
yeah.
no answer to that question. I just
Yeah,
wanted to
doesn't
ask
make a lot
why.
of sense. Yeah, that's a good point.
Just one of many plot holes.
Can I do a slow burn?
Yeah.
Yeah, please.
The carpet in here is like the old school like skating rink,
I want that in my pinball room.
showbiz pizza carpet. What are your thoughts?
I want it. I've been looking for it, and I've actually shopped for that carpet,
Yeah.
and I haven't found the exact pattern yet. But
Yeah, I want it on the walls.
yeah,
Yeah.
I want paint. I want the paint that's like on those like cups that you get at the skating rink with the teal and purple, and then I want that carpet right there that we're seeing on screen right now in my arcade room, in my house, which is also where we're going to build our YouTube studio.
Nice.
Yeah.
So,
It looks dope under a black light.
and again, part of my flip the script, the aesthetics were great.
Yeah.
So
It does.
Yeah, we'll
dirty.
pre-stain it. Yeah.
Dirty.
It has to smell like feet
Yeah.
because
It's
everybody's running
got to
around.
smell like there's been like a fog machine running for like a couple weeks.
Let's look for a run down Chuck E. Cheese and see if we can't rip the carpet up after they're done renovating.
I'm not going in a Chuck E. Cheese ever again after seeing this movie.
yeah, it's got to smell a little bit like cigarettes and regret.
Cigarettes and brass from the coins falling on the ground.
Slow.
All right,
burn.
slow burn. Now this is Critical Mess. I'm here with Brian Grizz and Ben.
Johnny D.
We are sponsored tonight by Johnny D and Michter's. Okay, so this is serious question. So the animatronics, the Freddys of the world, do they officially teleport? Do they get to teleport around? I feel like they do, but it once again doesn't make any fucking
Do they just leave the place and
sense.
walk around?
In the movie,
Well,
they can teleport and phase shift, shape shift.
yes, they can.
In the game, that's a good question. I think so, but I will ask the source of all knowledge, my 13-year-old son.
Your 13-year-old son. FNAF. Tell us all about it.
Can't wait to be like,
In the
"All right,
comment
Jude,
section
I got
below."
some questions here for you, buddy."
Yeah, we're going to need some help.
I want to talk a little bit more about Matthew Lillard because I think he's a special talent.
Agreed.
And I want to go around the room and talk about our favorite Matthew Lillard films.
Well, I think I've already given mine away. Are you
I
asking
only-
now, or is
I
there
only
more-
have
is there
one,
more
guys.
preface?
It's just Scream.
Yeah, not Scooby Doo.
I
Not
mean-
13 Ghosts?
I think he absolutely killed it with Scooby-Doo, to be honest with you.
Never
But-
saw it.
But Scream, that's just classic.
I got to go Scream, Nick. Scream.
25 plus years of pure horror. He's just set that stage for us.
He
I
is
looked it
perfectly-
up. 27.
Oh my God.
He's perfectly cast in Scream.
I'm going Summer Catch.
Wow, I haven't seen it.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deep cut.
He's actually in a great movie.
What?
Or no, he's not in a great movie. Sorry.
I'm just kidding.
You know what's really funny? You know who I always get him confused with, and I was going to say that he was in this movie, but he's not. I always get him confused with Jake Busey.
Oh, Starship Troopers. Jake
They're both
Busey.
just like tall, goofy
they're similar.
goofballs
Yeah.
who are not in good movies. And so, yes, I thought for a hot second he was in Starship Troopers.
This
but that
whole
is
time
Jake
we've
Busey.
been doing this podcast, have you thought that Matthew Lillard was Jake Busey?
No, it occurred to me like halfway through. But, yeah, he's the guy that kind of dances around in Starship Troopers and plays that little fiddle thing.
Yeah.
Jake Busey. Anyways, that's not Matthew Lillard.
Nope.
So
Not him.
we're going to keep it
Son
moving.
of one Gary Busey.
I hope he's in Summer Catch. Is that right? Or is that Jake Busey?
Well, seeing as how no one else knew what
we-
you were
can
talking
we get the
about,
research team
you
on
can
that?
just kind of
I
come up
gotcha.
with whatever you want.
Yeah, he's in Summer Catch. That's one of the shittiest movies I've ever seen. Easily.
I've seen that movie.
Yeah. There's a lot of driving around in a convertible and talking about girls.
Yeah. Matthew Lillard's name in that movie is Billy Brubaker.
Ooh.
Classic.
Billy Brew. Anyway, I don't know where I am or what's going on right now.
Can I just ask
What
real
are we
quick?
doing?
Why does the ceiling implode at the end of this movie?
When they hit all the circuit breakers. And all the
why do
electrical.
all the fluorescent lights start falling down and the ceiling implodes and the whole thing blows up? Like what?
I get
what?
why the electrical pieces come on and off and like flicker a little bit because
Yeah.
they're all connected to the electricity.
And they
in
set
some
that
way,
up at
shape,
the
or form.
beginning. They're like
Yeah.
the electricity is kind of shoddy.
Yeah.
Right.
But then the whole building starts to fall down.
Yeah.
Like the drywall and the the things in the building just fall over.
Yeah, it's like
I
the
don't-
editor's just like, well, shit, we got to just
We need
destroy
some
this place.
apocalyptic end of world
We need a
visual.
climax.
Yeah.
All right, guys. I've just got a couple more here. I think
Yeah.
This has been a really,
I think we've
hot session of slow burn.
we pretty much talked more about this movie than anyone ever will.
Yeah. We deserve something for that.
Maybe a slap in the face.
Okay, yeah, probably. There's no bad guy until like 10 minutes left in the movie here. I guess the animatronics are, obviously sort of evil, but like the whole Matthew Lillard character I thought was severely underdeveloped. And I just didn't feel any sort of tension with like an antagonistic force in the way that I just expect out of a horror movie here.
Was that the biggest twist? Seeing him pull off that mask? I thought it was an animatronic at first.
Sort of. I mean, they foreshadowed it pretty heavy.
Did they?
Yeah,
I mean,
with a
just the way-
photograph of that kind of sort of monster he
And kind of the way
inhabited.
he's sitting and the camera's sort of directly on, kind of pulling in as he's telling him about the job. He's like,
I mean, I knew he was twisty and
very
weird, but I
nefarious.
didn't think he was inside the costume.
but there was something
Yeah.
going on with him.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I
He
think there
was interesting. It was an interesting character.
Yeah.
And they didn't do enough with it. And frankly, I think they didn't do enough with it because this movie probably would have been rated R if they did.
Yeah, and I got to say the animatronics fell short immediately. They were scary for like the first like 10% of the movie, and then as soon as they became sort of like non-threatening, and the fact that they could never talk, they just fell so flat to me. It's
Yeah.
like these monsters
The-
that could be so scary so easily are not scary at all.
The best scene was when he's in the kitchen. The kid, like they're ransacking the place, I think, or I don't know what you would call them, the bad guys or whatever. The aunt hired them to ransack
And
it.
the one looks over.
The one's in the kitchen, and he's looking at the fridge, and you see behind the air conditioned thing is moving, the windmill.
fan, yeah, the
and then
fan.
you see the yellow character, the Chicky or whatever his name, walking slowly across the frame. And you're like, oh, that's so
in
good.
the background, you almost miss it. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's
a good
so
one.
good. I was like, that's great. I was
I
like,
know
this is-
when they're set up as this mysterious characters in the background of the
Yeah.
shadows, they're scary. But then they come out and they be these like
clunky
child whisperers.
Yeah,
like,
they're just,
oh, if a child likes them and gives them a picture, they're fun.
yeah.
Kind of talk like a pirate there, Brian. They be the child
They
whisperers.
be these be the child whisperers.
They be the child
Arr.
whisperers. Damn it, Johnny D. You've got us feeling good tonight. Sorry. All right, we're almost done with this segment. Okay, just a quick note. Let the hot cop die. Just let her die.
Yeah.
She got stabbed. Just let her die.
Max died. Why can't Vanessa die?
She can die. She was bad.
Oh, Vanessa can't die because she's pretty, and Max is
Yeah,
not as
she
pretty.
was pretty,
Love
and that's why
interest.
she didn't
Yeah.
die. But my goodness, just let her die.
Sequels.
This movie goes up 15 points.
I
if
don't know
she
if it was
dies.
true, but I did see a quick TikTok this last week showing that there were like 7 films in development after this.
Matthew Lillard signed a contract for 3 movies, so
My
there's at least 3.
God.
Good for him. I like to see him doing well.
Yeah.
I want him to do well, but not.
Oh shit! The credits just pulled up. Oh, we still
Oh,
have that
no.
post-credit scene, so that gives us time to
Yep.
to end.
Okay, this is my last slow burn topic, but I want to get into it for a second. So Mike's murdered kid brother. He
Garrett.
was not one of the killer puppets. Or,
No.
but
He was not
why
one of the 5.
Why not? It seemed like that was like a weird, like he was just a random kid that got killed, but didn't get put inside a puppet. Like that seemed like an obvious like plot device they could have used. Like he was actually the fucking bird guy.
Yeah, there were a
you-
lot of puppets that were on the ground, as you saw in the background, or half-made puppets that had human remains inside of them. You could see like the skin and the stuff, and like. So I don't know if there were just multiples that were just being worked on. I have no.
No,
idea.
I seemed like an
think
obvious.
It was the very specific kids that were abducted and murdered, and those were 1-to-1 equaled.
Yes, yeah, because one had rabbit
animatronics.
ears, one had a top hat, one was wearing a yellow striped shirt, one was wearing, they all had very specific things that they were wearing I immediately connected that. But it was like the extra kids that don't know about that were just laying on the floor in pieces and parts.
Yeah, but not Garrett.
Yeah.
Nick, you found the one plot hole in this movie.
The one and
job.
only.
The one and only.
Big props.
Anyway,
I
there
did
just
not
seemed like
think
a
of
missed
that.
opportunity there.
Yeah, very much.
All right, I'm done slow burning. You guys got anything else?
I didn't wait long enough to see the end credit scene, so I turned it right off. But I see Jim Henson's Creature Shop was also
Yeah,
involved
notable.
in this.
Notable.
What the fuck? They were involved in that?
Yeah, well, the animatronics were pretty cool. I
They
think.
were very cool looking, but I don't think they moved very well.
Yeah,
But
they were kind of weird. Nick, here's what I want to say to our audience. All right, guys, listen up. Real
He
talk,
closed
guys.
the laptop.
he closed
Real
it.
talk. Okay, I just
We're
closed my
getting
laptop.
serious here.
We will review a good movie soon. Okay, just Five Nights at Freddy's. It was topical. Just stick with us, people. Okay?
Stick with us.
We got. If you could see the list of bangers that we have coming up, it's an absolute like top ever list. So just take my word for it. It's going to be better than this movie. We will actually talk about themes of a good movie and character arcs of a worthy movie. Am I right, guys? Do you agree?
mean, someday, God willing.
Yeah.
We're going to get there one day.
We made it through our spooky month, and now we're back to Oscar bait. Wait, that didn't sound
Maybe,
quite right.
because our next movie is going to be Half Baked.
Well,
Oh, spoiler.
I mean, it's
least it's
Oscar
not a
bait,
horror
and,
movie.
and if I'm awarding Oscars, then yeah.
yeah.
I mean, Best Picture, yes.
Touche.
So yes, if we haven't given away yet, Half Baked will be our next film. We will for sure be half baked for that. Depending on how much weed you smoke, could be a horror movie. I don't know.
Good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's in the eye of the beholder
it is
or
indeed.
the ear of the listener.
But that's going to be our next episode, Half Baked, with Dave Chappelle, Jim Brewer, and others. We're definitely looking forward to breaking out the bongs and talking about that one. So that's going to be our next one, and we had a lot of fun with this one. It was kind of a weird one, but we wanted to do something topical and fun, and so we did. Damn it,
Chocolate chip on Instagram, right?
chocolate chip.
right.
Give us that one like.
At Corridor Crew. Sorry, that's a YouTube channel I watch.
Nice.
That's at
Critical Mess Crew.
Yes, at Critical Mess Crew at http://www.instagram.com /block/ Critical Mess.
Just
Crew.
Google chocolate chip. You'll find us.
Yep.
We're out there.
All right, we're done.
We're out. Later.
Good night.
See ya.
Bye.